Hello and welcome back to my channel. Sit back and have a cup of coffee with me as I talk about this Roku camera, indoor camera SE. It can keep an eye on any room of your home. I originally bought one of these from Roku.com, and it was get a 14-day free subscription to the service, Smart Home service. But I bought a new one, same one, but off Amazon for less than I bought it on Roku site, and this one came with a 90-day free subscription to Smart Home. Now that was pretty cool. So I'm going to look at this thing now. Now this has a full HD video, 1080p for video, and a motion and sound detection, and instant notifications, color night vision, loud siren, enhanced two-way audio, where you can talk through the camera and you can also hear what's going on the other side of the camera. So it's good for monitoring. It has cloud storage and person detection. That's a pretty nice little thing. And you can look at your, you control all this through your iPhone or a tablet or Android device, whatever, as long as you have a camera on your tablet. You really do need to have one because you have to scan in a code in order to get something to work. So you got to have a camera on your phone, and it's sufficiently functional and comes with some great features in its application. However, it lacks a dedicated application for the Windows operating system, meaning you must manage it through your smartphone. For instance, toggling the camera on and off or altering the settings. And additionally, live viewing on a Windows computer isn't possible. Directly possible. It requires the use of a phone or a Roku device to watch the camera feed live. So if you have a smartphone or a tablet computer, you can manage the cameras. But you really do need to have a super good Wi-Fi signal in your home or your apartment. If you've got spots where you're going to put the camera where it doesn't have a good consistent connection or signal where it can connect and stay connected, that'll be a problem. Now you must subscribe to the Roku Smart Home plan if you want to receive alerts and save / view to cloud recordings. Now each camera requires an independent subscription for alerts and recordings to the cloud. Now for the extra 30 days or 90-day free subscription, that's the one you get on Amazon currently, you do have to sign up for a signal camera subscription. And like I said, each camera requires a different subscription in order to store things independently and have all the access to all the features. And you can't use a third-party software to control or view the Roku camera. And you can't give someone else access to it, just to the camera feed or something, or the recordings. They need to log in with the same Roku credentials, your username and password, and you don't want to give that out to people. You really don't. You can record to your smartphone, but it won't do it automatically by triggered movement or configured events. And this is fine. It won't cost you anything. So you don't need a subscription. However, if you need to record when the camera detects movements or sound, like let's say your 90-year-old father or 3-year-old gets up out of bed in the middle of the night and you want to know they did that, or if someone comes in through the window, then you will need a subscription for each camera that you're going to need an area covered. Now, currently, the price for a single camera subscription is $3.99 a month. If you have 2 cameras, you need to be able to trigger events, and you need to be able to trigger events to record. It would basically be $8 a month, so that'd be 2 subscriptions, 1 for each camera. If you have 3 or more, it would be $9.99 a month, or $99.99 a year, and that covers up to 99 cameras. So, but I think for a lot of us, we're going to have 1 or 2 cameras. It's not really that bad a price when you think about it, for all that you get if you need to have constant monitoring. Now let me bring up the Roku Smart Home on my iPhone. I turn my camera and see what's going on. And I can zoom in and zoom out, zoom in close. This has got night vision on right now because it's dark in my house. Now, I recorded some stuff in the events yesterday. And you can see all the recordings I did, all the way up to 10 p.m. when my father finally went to bed. Now, when I go into the account, you can see you got your subscription and the security and the notifications you can turn on. The smart integrations relate to other programs and devices. The rules are where you set up, if this happens, do this. My only complaint so far about this is that I can't use it on a Windows PC. I have to use a smartphone in order to control it, turn it on and off, to each camera on and off, or to configure the settings. But I can watch it on other things, like on a Roku, on my TV. Now, looking at it, I could go down here, but you can't see it pretty well, but it's Roku Cameras. That's the app. And I go to the Roku Camera app, and it will bring up the living room and the bedroom. And you can see here that I have it set to my dad's bedroom. And I can go full screen like this, view events, but I can watch everything. It's pretty nice. So that's beneficial. And here I can also view the recordings that I've made to the cloud. But I do have a couple issues with the device, in that sometimes it can't connect to the camera Wi-Fi, the Roku, from a different room. And it'll be fine like this, and then you switch to another camera, and then it can't connect to either camera, and then you got to exit, come back, and hope. Also, unlike on the iPhone, you cannot zoom in and out. I can't. I can view events, but I can't zoom in a specific point. Like if I wanted to zoom in to see if somebody was on the floor, they're laying on the floor, I would not be able to do it on the Roku app on the TV. Now on this iPhone, I can zoom in, really close. It's hard to see this, but I can move around the screen and zoom in closer and closer and closer. So that's good on this or a tablet, but the Roku app on the TV you can't. I'm not quite sure if it's the best on the market. Now it says here in the box, control from anywhere. They got some lady that's out in the middle of the rural area on a mountain, at a lake on a mountain, checking her app. I don't know if this will actually work that way. I have read some people who've had issues with being able to control the cameras, turn them on and off, or record, or get alerts. But that could be Wi-Fi signal strength. I haven't had a problem with it yet. Now, I was on the free trial. When you always get a free trial, 14-day free trial per camera. And the second one, I got a 90-day free subscription to Smart Home. I haven't had an issue with it yet, needing that. But my dad fell again. And, of course, I made a video about it, and I didn't see him fall or how he fell. I mean, if he fainted or just slipped or tripped over his own feet. I wasn't quite sure how that happened, and neither was the doctor. And the doctors would have loved to have been able to see exactly how he fell. And so I decided I'm going to buy a second camera because I got tired of moving the camera from the living room to his bedroom, depending on where he was. You know, at night I'd put it in the bedroom with him, and then during the day I'd put it in the living room. So I decided to get the two. And I didn't quite realize that you needed a subscription for each camera in order to. I thought it was all one subscription. But for $8 a month for two, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's not a bad price. But even for $4.99, just for one, because I probably won't need more than one, but I probably will. Because my dad might get up from bed in the middle of the night, go walk to the bathroom and fall, and this camera will pick that up and record it, and we might be able to see what's going on with him. So for me, that's probably something I need to do for now. It's also be pretty good if you want to set it up inside the house, to see if anyone comes into the house, like your maintenance workers if you live in an apartment, or your kids come into the house. And every time they walk through a room, it'll record them. Every time they rifle through your piggy bank, you can see them doing it in high color or night vision. So it's a pretty good deal. I think it's worth the trial. Now that's going to be when it records in small clips whenever it detects motion. If you want to record all the time, you'll need to buy an SD card. What I mean by that is a local SD card, probably on your cell phone or your tablet. You need to get a card in there to record all the data to it. So the 14-day keeps small clips on the cloud, but if you want to watch constant or record constantly, you need to record it locally. So that's a drawback too. I think it would be better if it was recorded directly to the cloud, but then the subscription wouldn't be as cheap as it is. Sounds like a good deal. But is it? I think maybe this looks a little bit like the Wyze camera. They seem to almost be identical. And I'm wondering about that, because Wyze has been around a lot longer, and they seem to have a much cheaper plan and better support. I mean, essentially, they're the same thing. This is really what I got in the Roku box, except for of course, not the smartphone, but everything else is pretty much the exact same thing. And the Wyze Camera Plus, a single camera 1 month subscription, is about $2.99. Cloud recording, back-to-back event recording, and smarter notifications. All the same stuff, but I think for like $1 more, you can do 24/7 recording. Basically the same thing with some different features and functions, and of course different software. But they are in a partnership with the other company, so it's not like they're ripping them off. I've read a lot of things that were originally written about this saying it's a copycat, but it's not a copycat. It's a part of the integration and partnership between Roku and Wyze. I think, though, for the 24/7 recording stored on the cloud, not needed to be local or on your smartphone, which you might be out of range, and how's it going to record when you're out of range if you're driving around and stuff? So, there's some complications with that, so I'd prefer to store online on the cloud, and that probably is a little cheaper than just paying for the Roku, where you have to store 24/7 recordings locally. So, which is better? I think they both have their market. And I think that if you want to be able to watch on your television through your Roku and your cameras and stuff, this is probably the way you want to go. And if you don't need constant 24/7 recording, and you don't want to have to take put a SD card in your smartphone to record constantly. Like I said, I could foresee a problem with that. If you got out of range or run out of battery on you, that could be a problem. I prefer the cloud storage, and Roku currently to date doesn't have 24/7 recording on the cloud, but Wyze does. So that's something you need to consider during the comparison. But for me right now, this is the way to go because I already bought it. And I haven't had any need to have constant 24/7 recording. I think that the short burst recording for motion or whatever is probably good enough. I'm going to do some more investigation into the SD card and finding out how I can utilize that on something other than my iPhone. It would be great if you could do it on your Roku device, Roku player. That would be great if you could do that. And if they could get to the point, both these companies, where you could actually, without having to use an emulator or Apple or the other or Android on your computer, try to get it to work. If they could get something down for Windows 10 and 11, that would be perfect. Well, to sum it up, yeah, it's good. Not everyone thinks it's good, especially people that used to use Wyze products that went over to the Roku and don't like it as well. Which makes me wonder, why did they leave the other company? Just so they could watch it on their television? So, I'm not reviewing the Wyze software because I don't own it. But for me, this Roku device, these cameras are good enough for now. And I think that they're worth looking at. But you want to test them out thoroughly and make sure you can return them if you don't like them within the return window. And save yourself some bucks. Anyway, take care. And I'll see you again another time.